These kinds of confusing transactions where economic value is being passed, but cash is going to stop being passed. Maybe you can help explain what's happening with Alibaba giving up cash payments from Ant Financial, and Ant Financial is handing over a third of its equity.
Well, I haven't had the chance yet to dig into the details of it. And, as has been noted, the original relationship between Ant and Alibaba has been a complicated relationship. And that really is part of the Chinese regulatory environment about ownership of certain financial related entities. So either way, it's still a big deal to them, and the online payments is really part of the entire story of Alibaba, obviously.
Certainly. Currently with Alibaba, what's more important for you? Is it the advertising business or is it the e-commerce business?
Well, the e-commerce business is the business, the largest and the most profitable piece, and contributed over $7 billion of EBITDA this quarter. So that's the bread and butter, and it will continue to be so, and it will help fund a lot of the other initiatives that you're seeing. Right,
but isn't most of the revenue from Taobao and Tmall actually advertising, not actually e-commerce itself, but just advertising on the site? Not, money's money, but it's not actually shipping of goods. It's advertising about those goods.
It's a meaningful part, and one of the stories we saw today is, in fact, that advertising spending by Alibaba now exceeds R&D spending. So yes, they generate revenue from multiple sources, but it's people going on their phones. As someone said last month, you have 1 billion Chinese people walking around with a shopping mall in their pocket, and so it's a combination of margin made as the middleman between the goods manufacturers and the buyers, and also advertising.
Yeah, again, if the majority is advertising, not the shipping of goods, the story starts to look a little different. But it's an interesting one, certainly. And it does seem that all of this M&A for this company is when you read the financial filings, when you read the 10Ks and even the Qs, you read about all these deals that they've done, not all of which have been accompanied with press releases. And it does seem that trying to follow what's happening in terms of mergers and acquisitions and who's buying whom and when, and now the Ant Financial thing, it really is a moving story.
Well, it is a moving story. The Ant story is obviously pretty significant in size, but between Alibaba and Tencent, these guys have been prolific investors into other internet companies. I mean, between the two of them, they have well over 200 investments, and some of them are of some significance. I mean, you have both of those companies are investors in Didi, the Uber of China, and that's part of the nature of their business. I mean, in some ways, they're both internet companies and venture capital firms. I mean, they've been much more prolific than their sort of American counterparts in terms of investing in tertiary related businesses. And there's a lot of acquisitions of those companies. A lot of those companies have gone public and then later been acquired, like EMQQ, for example. So it's definitely part of the story and part of the businesses.